Are there any real benefits to becoming a police officer? Let's discuss. Hey, before we get started, I have two gifts in the description for you. One is the Getting Started Workshop. It's going to walk you through any phase of the hiring process. Plus, there's some hidden bonuses in there that I think you're going to like. Next is a coaching call with any member of my team or even myself if you'd like, where we can go over your hiring process, get you set up, cover your background, your resume, your board, your polys, everything that you think you might need to go over or you want more information on. Now, the benefits of becoming a police officer. Recently, I was reading some of the comments, and some of the comments were saying, hey, Frank, I really appreciate your insight, and I really appreciate all the value. But if it's so hard, and if society hates law enforcement so much, then what are the real benefits of becoming a law enforcement officer? And when I explain people that we do this and we assist this, like, well, who wants to become a police officer? I'm going to let you in on a little hidden secret. And I am very daring to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. We might have more statistics on police recruitment than any other organization out there, because that's all we deal with all the time. And people, I like to think when they come in, they're honest with us, because being honest with us is only a success for them. Like, at no point in time is it a detriment for them to lie to us. It doesn't benefit them in any way, because we're not the hiring company. We're not going to be the ones that sit here and rip them apart for maybe a hurdle in their background. No, we're completely transparent with them, and a lot of times, and most of the times, I believe they're completely transparent with us. So we have true information, opposed to some college, university, or organization doing polls and studies and asking questions. And I mean, you get the FBI that comes up to you and said, hey, we're interested in polling a bunch of new recruits. I like to think everyone's going to be honest, but there's a good chance that maybe they won't be. So with us, I found that people are usually pretty open to share. So going back to the original question is why? What's the benefit? It's a fallacy. There are so many police candidates, applicants, and recruits out there. It is ridiculous. I am hiring more instructors just so I can start getting to all of the ones that are reaching out to me. It's one of those aspects where they're just quiet about it, right? They don't want to sit here and be belittled and critiqued by individuals who would never have the courage to pursue the profession or have the desire to truly help community members. And it's a bold statement, but that's what I typically see defined. And that's really where a lot of it truly stems from. When I talk to these individuals, I say, hey, why do you want to do this? What's in this for you? And I tend to categorize the applicants and the candidates I see. And the ones that I see really succeed, the ones that are really strong, are the ones that have a selfish and a selfless reason, right? So you have to have both. Now, the ones that have a selfish reason that's still semi-selfless, those are the ones I really see crush it, do really well in the hiring process, do really well in the academy, FTO, and are having successful careers right now. And I'll break all this down for you. So let's see, what are some of the benefits? Well, let's look at the known benefits right off the bat. All right, some of the known benefits that individuals will kind of gravitate to. And we're going to start with the number one. A lot of individuals, and people say, oh, these are 21-year-olds that have never been in, real society. No, the average applicant that I'm seeing is between the age of 26 and 36. That's the average applicant that I'm seeing. And they've already started a career. Maybe they've gotten a degree in one other aspect, right? Because a lot of applicants have a 2 or 4 year degree. They already have a degree in communications or literature or a lot of other things than criminal justice, right? And then they went out and they pursued the degree. Maybe they have it in IT. I see a lot of IT people. And they find that they've worked in that career for 5-6 years already. and there's nothing rewarding about it. They don't feel like they're making a difference. All they're doing is going to work every day, listening to a bunch of people tell them what to do, and they're collecting a paycheck and going home, and they feel a lot like their life is meaningless. Maybe you feel that way, right? Maybe you feel that the job you're in right now is just not rewarding, and it's not beneficial. And you know, where are you going to be in 30, 40 years? Are you going to be living for one vacation a year, with your family, and going in and feeling miserable and just trying to collect a paycheck? And I see a lot of candidates in that 26 to 36 age range feel that way. The candidates over 36, and there's quite a few, those ones I see, they've already had a successful career and they've done it, and they're like, hey, I enjoyed it, it was okay, but once again, I want to do more. I felt that career didn't satisfy me, and I felt that I'm not leaving a positive impact on my community or the place where my family's going to be raised or was raised, or the college, or I want the city and the college my children are going to go to school in to be safer. And I see that a lot. But going back to 26, 36-year-olds, which are predominantly what I see, it's about meaningfulness. And that's that selfless side. That's that selfless side where they say, I want to do something that means something. I want to make a difference. I want to be a positive impact. No one gets into law enforcement and immediately says, hey, I want to, mess up and violate someone's rights. It does happen. Unfortunately, in my opinion, I think it happens too often, and I think there should be harder consequences for it and faster consequences for it. But no one that I know gets into it. A lot of times I see it due to bad training, or ego starts getting in the way from too many years of service and not being checked. But going back to it, the benefits, I want to make a difference. I want to, it's the community I'm serving, and a lot of people, it's not even the community that they live in. Sometimes people apply out of state. They say, I just want a fresh start. I don't care where I go. I just want to, I actually want to move states. I want to apply. I've always been interested in this area. I just want to, the family's ready to pick up, move, do something more, and go from there. And that's the meaningfulness of it. That's that selfless side of making a positive impact. And you used to see all these old military commercials of going out there and making an impact. That still rings true. So if you're a law enforcement recruiter, you're working for a department, and you're trying to figure out how to get more applicants in the door, start speaking to that emotional side, right? Because I'm seeing a lot of it. Next is the selfish side. And once again, there's a selfish side, and then there's a selfish side that has a selfless component to it. And these are the candidates I really see blow it out of the water. And by the way, this is a really good answer to your why. If you want to kind of take this and mold it into why you want to become a police officer, to answer that question for you during your hiring process. The selfless side is, I want a job that's stable. I want a job that I know I can provide for my family for. I want a job that I know is stable and it will be there. And I'm not looking at getting, laid off because of downsizing or anything like that. I can tell you this, I've worked through 2 government shutdowns, and I never once not got paid, because law enforcement is considered essential and emergency personnel. And we were always made sure, and it was always made sure that emergency services was compensated. And there's funding put in that, usually with, at least federally it was, funding put aside for that to ensure that those payments went through. And I've worked through some pretty long government shutdowns. So absolutely, it is a structured and reliable career. Your paycheck's going to come in. It's going to be a livable salary. You're going to be able to make extra money if you want to pick up shifts and some overtimes, buy a new house, buy a new vehicle. That there's a good chance of promotion as time goes on, just due to rotations, turnovers, retirements, lateral entries, things like that. And there's a career path, right? It is reliable. You're never going to get stagnant. And some people, going back to before, they're like, I'm just stagnant. There's nothing there for me. If I want to grow, I have to leave this company. That's never going to be the case, because even if you're not promoting, you're pursuing additional training. You're getting more certifications and stuff that only makes you more marketable for promotion or for other departments. And most departments are not. They will make sure that they can try to keep a good officer. All right, they will fight tooth and nail to try and keep a good officer, because it's hard to replace. It's hard to replace a well-trained, good officer. That's why they promote them. That's why they try to get them to the salaries that they feel that they need and that they feel that they're compensated for. And, just a couple of years, I shouldn't say a couple of years ago, just within the last 2 years leading up till now, law enforcement officer pay has skyrocketed. Starting salaries now are way better than my starting salary was good when I started, but they're way better now. I mean, it's ridiculous what I'm seeing. They're a livable wage for wherever you're going to be working. Some departments are still a little behind, but they are. Society has seen what happens when law enforcement is understaffed and underfunded, and they've seen a lot of people leave the state with businesses because they don't feel that their businesses are protected and things like that. I'm going off on a tangent here, but getting back to it, it is a stable career and one that you can always rely on. Not just the salary, but the benefits. You will never have better benefits. All right, law enforcement is one of the last true organizations that have a pension, like a full pension. Depending on where you go, in federal, it's even a little bit better than a typical, federal employee's pension, and same with some states. But yeah, you're gonna have a livable retirement for the rest of your life. Yeah. Is there inherent risk? Yes, there's always that inherent risk. But that's what makes those that choose to pursue the profession so honorable, is the fact that they're willing to lay out the ultimate risk to go out and try to make the world, make their community a better place. I'm not going to beat that up in this video because that's not what this one's about, but getting back to your pension, you have so many opportunities, and there's so many specific things out there for law enforcement that most individuals just kind of benefits. Most individuals don't know there's specific credit unions out there for law enforcement that really work with law enforcement to get you loans and fix stuff like credits. If you have any type of old credit issues or anything, there's college out there. If you don't have your degree or you want to get another degree or expand, there's programs out there to help law enforcement officers pursue degrees in criminal justice, criminology, even psychology and things like that, and public relations, things along those lines. There's programs out there that will cover your entire tuitions to certain colleges so that you can expound upon yourself, and you're not paying out of pocket at all for it, except books and things like that, but tuition is pretty much covered. There's grants and there's scholarships for law enforcement officers. There's just tremendous opportunity out there once you get into this career, if you truly want to research it and pursue it. These are the little tidbits that some people know that it's not always common, but at least that knowledge is out there. And then there's the unknown knowledge, the unknown benefits that you get that most people don't consider. If you take your training serious in law enforcement, and you starting from your basic training and then going from there, it will impact your entire life for the positive. And here's what I mean by that. Your articulation training, your courtroom training, your legal training, your firearms training, your medical training, your investigative training, all that stuff is skills that once you have that knowledge, it's yours. No one can ever take it away from you. Once knowledge is in your head, it's yours forever. And you can use that knowledge even if you wanted to get out of law enforcement later on. And you can use that, and it will make you a stellar applicant or candidate for any position, because you have the ability to present yourself professionally, to articulate yourself. These are the benefits that you don't even know. Going to the other side of it is assessing individuals, and out on the street, walking with your family and your kids, and being able to assess threats and things like that due to the training. And I'm this is just the basic stuff. And then you have the advanced training. You get into tactical medicine, and you get into, if maybe you're working with a sheriff's office and they have a water patrol unit, and you're getting boat certifications. Maybe you're getting a dive certification. Maybe you're getting a aviation certification because you're working on the aviation unit. There's so many things. We obviously, there's always the K9 and the SWAT that most people talk about. Investigations, when you get up to CID, criminal investigations division, or detective, right? All that knowledge and all that training is yours to keep, and those are the unsung benefits. It's there, it's yours. You're going to be able to apply it in every aspect of your life, whether you want to start a business or protect your family and all that, and it's there. And you're not only getting paid to go, well, it's not only paid for, but you're getting paid to go do it. And it is a phenomenal benefit that a lot of individuals kind of don't initially think about when they're pursuing this. I mean, you will come out, if you take your training serious, you will come out a whole new capable individual when it comes to society and life. And it can really revolutionize, what people are looking for. There's a lot more, right? But I wanted to hit on some of the benefits. I don't want to always sit here and tell everyone all the hardships it is to getting hired. It is a hard hiring process, but that's because it's worth it, right? Just remember to be the best officer you can be. You have to serve the community. It's about them. So don't make it about you. Make it about them. Always treat them with respect. You should always be treating society with the utmost respect. You should never get that mentality of us versus them, and you should never be trying to jam them up, no matter if they're rude to you or not, right? That's their right. So keep that in mind as you go through the profession. But I hope this gives you a little insight. Maybe you're someone who's always thought about law enforcement. Maybe you're on the fence about pursuing it, or maybe you're one of those ones sitting in a cubicle or sitting in a warehouse or working, and you're saying, man, am I doing anything meaningful right now? What kind of impact is this going to leave for my family? Is this something my family can be proud of? Maybe you're at that point in time in your life. Well, consider something in public safety, law enforcement if you want. If you want some more guidance, reach out to us. All right. That being said, we have those 2 gifts down in the description for you. The Getting Started Workshop is going to walk you through every phase of the hiring process. Plus, there's some hidden bonuses in there for you as well as a coaching call with any member of my team or even myself. Be glad to sit down with you, see if this is the right fit for you. Stay safe, and I will see you next time.